Alabama. Brandon Miller, the future top 3 NBA draft pick, highlights a true 3-and-D style team that can get hot from distance and lock you down defensively. Houston, a well-rounded, consistent team that's top 10 in both offensive and defensive efficiency of all tournament teams, thanks to great coaching and a talented roster that hopes to get their best player back in time. Kansas, the reigning, defending champs, lost 3 of their best players from last year's championship run. But they have the Big 12 Player of the Year, a sharpshooting freshman, the Big 12 Most Improved Player of the Year, and are still coached by a future Hall of Famer. Purdue, the Big 10 tournament champions, known for having a 7'4" center who won Big 10 Player of the League and who is second in rebounding nationally, with teammates who can nail shots from the perimeter. UCLA, a classic UCLA defense ranking second in defensive efficiency that's great at forcing turnovers, but will still need their guards to step up offensively to make a run. Texas, high-level guard play on a team that has top 20 offensive and defensive metrics and won the Big 12 championship, beating Kansas by double digits, despite the dramatic December departure of their head coach. Arizona, top 10 offense in the country with a defense that can hold its own, and a 6'11" forward nearly averaging a double-double. Marquette, Big East tournament champion, led by arguably the best pure point guard in college basketball, with a fiery coach who won Big East Coach of the Year. Baylor, top 3 offense that lives or dies by the 3, and defense that excels at steals. Gonzaga, Drew Timme became Gonzaga's all-time leading scorer and led a team that leads the nation in offensive efficiency, but somewhat surprisingly, Gonzaga doesn't have the championship pressure they typically have this time of year. Kansas State, elite first-team All-Big 12 guard play on a team that plays with pace and is top 20 in defensive efficiency. Xavier, smart guards that ensure the team leads the country in assists and know how to get the whole lineup involved offensively. UConn, the Huskies are deep and talented, led by a 2-time first-team All-Big East center and a double-figure scoring guard who hopes to carry the scoring torch of a team that is known for its incredible March Madness runs. Tennessee, for most of the season they ranked number 1 in defensive efficiency, and they have depth, but they did lose their best player for the season. Indiana, highlighted by the Big 10 Freshman of the Year and a prolific senior who earned all Big 10 accolades. Virginia, a team that doesn't turn over the ball with a guard who just won ACC Defensive Player of the Year. San Diego State, deep team highlighted by a Mountain West Defensive Player of the Year and a first-team all-conference transfer. Duke, one of the best lockdown defenses in an incredibly tough ACC, on a winning streak with a 7-footer who was just named ACC Freshman of the Year. St. Mary's, a top 10 team in defensive efficiency who will need big things from their all-WCC center. Miami, Florida, a top 10 team offensively that struggles on defense, but thankfully they have a junior guard who does a little of everything and was this season's ACC Player of the Tournament. Iowa State, a top 10 team defensively that makes you beat them from the perimeter, led by a true 3-and-D player, shooting 36.4% from distance and who was named to the all-defensive team for the Big 12. Creighton, a knock-on-wood, healthy Greg McDermott team with 3 former Big East all-freshman team honorees, a 6'7" sharpshooting senior, and a 7'1" center who excels at interior scoring and is a 2-time Big East Defensive Player of the Year. Kentucky, with question marks on defense, they make up for it with a Hall of Fame coach, a recent National Player of the Year, and rank second in offensive rebounding while being top 15 in offensive efficiency. TCU. The Horned Frogs are a well-rounded squad that excels in scoring inside the arc and playing stout defense. And they're still led by junior guard Mike Miles, who's the team's leading scorer and second team all-conference. Texas A&M. A balanced team that's deep and well-coached with marvelous guard play that's not scared to be aggressive defensively. Michigan State is the best three-point shooting team in the Big Ten, and they still have a Hall of Fame head coach who is known for his marches. Missouri, an assist-heavy small ball team that's offensive efficiency ranks 10th in the nation. Northwestern. The Wildcats exceeded expectations this season by finishing in a tie for second place in the Big Ten and are led by two guards who were the only players averaging double figures in scoring for Northwestern. Memphis just beat Houston in the AAC tournament and is a deep team that is fast-paced on offense and extremely aggressive on defense. Arkansas, a team that's been held back by injuries but who still has 3 really efficient players and is a top 20 defensive team. Maryland, a well-balanced team who took a big leap on defense this season and highlights a second-team All-Big Ten guard. Iowa, a top 3 team in the country offensively, but struggles on defense with a lot of pressure on All-Big Ten forward Chris Murray, who is excellent at shooting from anywhere and racking up rebounds in his spare time. Florida Atlantic, champions of the Conference USA tournament with great guard play on a team that plays with confidence. West Virginia, a transfer-heavy team that excels at creating turnovers and loves to draw contact and earn it at the free throw line. And an expressive senior who shoots 38% from the perimeter. Auburn, a team with good defensive numbers headlined by the OVC Defensive Player of the Year, but they score best on the interior. Illinois, third in scoring in the Big Ten, led by one of the best two-way guards in the Big Ten. Boise State, a great defensive team with a short rotation that has helped the starting lineup average double-figure scoring. Penn State, one of the best, most consistent teams offensively that can score from anywhere and is led by arguably the best scorer of all Big Ten guards. And they've thrived at end-of-game defensive situations. Southern California. USC is a team with veteran guard play, and they're a team with a lot of length to block shots, and they keep most from scoring. Southern California. USC is a team with veteran guard play and a team with the length to block shots and keep most from scoring. Providence, a lineup full of double-digit scorers on a team led by a Kentucky transfer who went from Kentucky Reserve to first team All-Big East in one season. Mississippi State, a top 5 to 10 team defensively with big bodies in the paint and an all-SEC first-team transfer who carries the team offensively. Pittsburgh, a top 25 team offensively that preseason was slated for bottom of the ACC and yet finished one game short of conference best, who has the ACC Coach of the Year and a guard who earned all ACC first-team accolades. Arizona State, known recently for beating Arizona on a half-court shot, but overall top 30 in defensive efficiency, and on offense, they play with pace, and if the threes are falling, look out. Nevada, they take care of the ball, but you cannot let them get to the free throw line, where they are deadly. College of Charleston, a balanced team that scores 80-plus points a game and averages 40.5 rebounds a game. Oral Roberts, 2021's Cinderella, but with a better team led by a 2-time Summit League MVP and a 7-5 Arkansas transfer who's had multiple games with 5 3-pointers. Drake, the coach's son, won the MVC Larry Bird Trophy as league MVP, and they're so experienced that the team's average age is higher than the NBA's Oklahoma City Thunder. But they constantly win the turnover margin. VCU, a great team defensively at forcing turnovers with a player who just won both Player of the Year and Defensive Player of the Year in the Atlantic 10 Conference. Kent State. Team is led by a 2021-22 MAC Player of the Year who can take over a game with his will, and team-wide they excel at creating turnovers on the defensive end. Iona, a terrific team defensively, especially with blocks, and led by a Hall of Fame coach in Rick Pitino. Furman, a highly efficient offense in the country that can light you up from behind the arc. Louisiana, a top 50 team in offensive efficiency, led by an All-American journeyman transfer who was the Pac-12's Sixth Man of the Year in 2021. Kennesaw State makes their first ever NCAA tournament with a team built around the Atlantic Sun tournament MVP and includes a 41% three-point shooter and the Atlantic Sun Defensive Player of the Year. UC Santa Barbara, surprising amount of depth with a fast tempo that can shoot the lights out, but gotta make sure they don't give up as many. Grand Canyon, a team altered by a star getting injured, has found a new one in their sophomore guard who put up 30-plus in the WAC Conference Tournament Championship game. Montana State, a defense that doesn't give you much to work with, and an offense full of transfers who can score. Vermont, they're used to the tournament having dominated the American East for a better part of a decade, and looks like that's going to continue for another year. Colgate, a veteran team that is extremely efficient on offense and led by the Patriot League Player of the Year, who also won Defensive Player of the Year since one award just wasn't enough for him. Princeton, English big man who was a unanimous selection for first team All-Ivy League on a team that consistently ranks top 3 across most categories in the Ivy League. UNC Asheville, led by 2-time Big South Defensive Player of the Year, who shoots threes when he's not blocking shots. Northern Kentucky, a defensive-focused team that doesn't allow many points, and that were led by their sophomore guard in scoring to win them the Horizon League tournament. Howard, MEAC tournament champions, who led the MEAC in three-point percentage. A&M Corpus Christi, a team that showed resilience after losing their best player, led by great coaching and great defense efficiency. A&M Corpus Christi, a team that showed resilience after losing their best player, led by great coaching and great defense. Texas Southern, honestly, not a great team, but their forward earned all-conference second-team honors, averaging nearly a double-double, and they did get hot in the SWAC at the right time, winning the conference tournament. Southeast Missouri State, a small ball team that shoots three-pointers like they're going out of stock soon. FDU, a team that took advantage of the transfer portal and has 4 players averaging double-digit points per game. Well, folks, that does it for today's episode. Thank you for joining. Thank you for being a part of the first real video for Play on Playoffs, where the regular season is just glorified preseason. We'll be back with some more coverage of the NCAA tournament here shortly. Thanks for tuning in.